Welcome to the A4NB4Y podcast, the Legend of Zelda theme podcast, where we go chapter by chapter through the game. I'm your host, Ryan Fonzie, and I am a submarine full of bombs. And with me, as always,
I'm Cameron, and I'm nothingness.
Oh, snap.
I'm Anthony, and I'm an optometrist. Better 1 or 2.
I'm Luigi, and I'm a very sad and forgotten about slingshot.
Aw.
What's a slingshot?
And we all float through the void. Just an optometrist in his submarine full of rockets. Or I said bombs, didn't I? Well,
and a slingshot that's crying.
And a slingshot that's crying.
Reminds me of like when he got the Stormbreaker, and then he wanted Mjolnir, but then forgot about the other one, and then he was like looking at him like, "How dare you abandon me?"
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. This is the beginning of a really great story, I promise. We'll have to explore that some other time, though, because for now, we are rocking along in our little King of Red Lions. So last episode, we got our last pearl, and we were set to sail off and start delivering these pearls to the Triangle Islands. I don't think there was anything else that I think we kind of covered the island pretty well. I definitely did a couple of the things that we talked about last week. Like I actually went back to that squid for the Great Fairy. And while I was looking for that, I did find another submarine that was filled with bombs and rats carrying bombs, and it was a very fun fight. It was quite silly. The reward
Certainly
wasn't
fun.
anything crazy. I think it was like a sea chart or something like that, but good time. Do still love those submarines. But yeah, anybody else do anything extra before jumping into this? Or
Yeah, I hit up that submarine. I tried to check out one of the two-eyed isle that's real close to it. Still nothing that you can do there, really. Yeah. I was just like, I want to kill these things and get sea charts, but no.
gotcha.
Good.
You did wait. So you defeated the island, and it just didn't give you anything, or
There's still nothing there to kill.
oh, okay, never mind. Makes sense. What were you saying, Mail?
I was driving around my boat doing some boat drifting, and I stumbled upon this island that was, I don't know how to describe it or what its name was. It was like a pointy plateau with like bomb rocks that you had to like time right to get into a cave, and then it made no sense that there was a cave because it was like the tiniest little skinniest island ever, but then there was like this huge cave system, and I was like,
It's
okay,
like Rockspire Island or something.
yeah, that sounds right. And then I was like, oh well, I need to like restock on some things, so I went to the shop, the Beetle Boat, and I got in there, and there was just a guy in there that was like, he was wearing a helmet.
Yeah,
He was not Beetle.
right. That's the Rockspire, not Beetle.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
Beetle. It was not Beetle. I'm
I hung out with
officially
him.
saying that's his canon name. Is just not Beetle. I don't know what his name is. If it could just be Beetle, just being Beetle, which probably is the likely case and scenario. But yeah, he had like a bottle and a hard container, and I forgot what else.
It's all
A
very
chart.
expensive, though.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
a chart.
Yeah, after last week, I was like, okay, I've got 500. I'll go drop 500 on that bottle.
Yeah, I got that one too over the hard container. I still
I was
haven't
like,
gone back to. Oh,
No, still haven't gone back. You're good.
I was gonna say I haven't gone back to get the giant wallet yet because I honestly forgot, and now I'm kind of sad because I could have probably afforded both.
I went and picked the bottle up and was like, cool, I'll go get more soup, and then got there and forgot that you can only have one soup. You can't have more than one soup on you.
Yeah, Grandma's not that generous. She's like, listen, we got to save some for Errol when she gets back. You
Grandma.
you can't just
Look, I
take
gotta-
the whole pot with you.
Like, look, I got a ferry, and all I need is soup after that. You know.
Hey, Ma, I need the soups.
Two servings is plenty. After that, she knows you're just going to start playing with it. You're not going to actually eat it.
Yeah. So at some point, I'll go struggle back into the forest and trade some seeds in for blue potion,
Yeah.
but not right now.
Yeah. So right now we go on our journey to these triangle islands like Coral marked on our map. And each one has its own little challenge to get to it, but none of them necessarily get in your way. There's an island surrounded by pea hats or sea hats, I think as they're called in this game. There's one that just has like one of Cyclos's giant tornadoes right next to it. But the direction I approached, it really wasn't an issue. I just kind of went around it and it was fine.
Yeah.
You Cyclos.
I knew I was going to come at it from the bad angle, and I was just like, but it's faster. It's only here. Let me go.
There was one that I think, I don't even remember if there was an enemy nearby or what. It was pretty simple to get to. It might have had like smaller cyclones or something.
I forget.
remember, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot what's there.
Yeah, it is just other cyclones.
it was forgettable. But yeah. And so each one of these, as you go, the first two kind of, say, hey, if, you're looking for the guideposts of the goddesses, like, just set your pearl here or whatever. And you can go ahead and place whichever pearls you want. There have been times where I've tried to like come from a specific one, but it really doesn't make a difference what you do. But the last pearl that you place, the statue starts kind of charging up like it's going to explode. And Link gets scared, jumps away from it, and then suddenly it just stops and goes silent. So Link gets curious and figures that he must have been wrong about what was about to happen, but he wasn't. He gets straight up blasted all the way to the center of where all these triangles or these islands. Sorry, let me try this from a different angle. So the three statues form a triangle. And when they explode, not only do they explode, but they like de-shell into a much more refined statue of one of the goddesses. Each one represents whether Din, Nehru, and Ferrora, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they make a triangle, like a laser triangle with their three pearls. Like the first one that you, like the last place you put your pearls, the first one to shoot a laser. And it rebounds around until it forms a triangle. Meanwhile,
the other ones. I think the only one that exploded was ours. Like the other ones get hit by the laser and explode on impact, basically.
Yeah. And so, like this happens, you see the colors appear of the Triforce on the Great Sea, and in the middle of it arises a giant, just ceramic tower is what it looks like. And so this whole cutscene happens while Link is presumably flying through the air. And once the tower comes out of the water, you do indeed see Link splat up against the side of it and fall down into the water, and Coral is just there waiting to pick us up.
I have to say, the distance that explosion knocks him.
Yeah.
Like what?
You went to
So
space.
we're dead. Canonically, Link has died, and the rest of the game is played in the afterlife.
Crushed to death by a giant stone spire that appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, the explosion itself probably would have. Yeah. I mean,
But send
It's
him
a
that far,
cartoon.
he wouldn't be there anymore.
It's like that.
But it's great.
It's like that last episode thing that you mentioned. You were like, Jaboon and Coral were talking. Like, yeah, he's not really the chosen one. I just kind of found this kid. I mean, he's got green clothes, so we're just gonna roll with it. But then, like later on in this episode, we're gonna basically find out that Link is indeed the chosen one. It's like, nah, he died because he's not.
He just kaboomed and that was it.
Link's
at
like
least
in
that
dreaming,
he's
like you're the chosen one.
or at least that he's like worthy of being called a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the goddesses protected him in the explosion through magical powers and just kind of flew him at a reasonable speed, but not too slow. You know, it has to be convincing. Because the speed he'd be going if he was launched that fast from an explosion would be way faster than that. So they kind of slow his speed a little.
Yeah, and it's a Nerf tower, so he actually was really soft landing.
Yeah. They cushioned the blow a little, and then they're like, hopefully no one notices. You know, we're done here.
And then he fell 300 feet into like soft water.
Yeah.
But he went in like head first, so it's fine, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's definitely not something you should emulate.
So here we are at the Tower of the Gods. Straight up, Coral tells us that our courage has gotten us this far. It'll let us be triumphant once again. He specifically tells us, like, the background of this place is that it was created by the ancient gods. They prepared it so that they might test the courage of men. And so if you can overcome the trials, you'll be acknowledged by the gods as a true hero. And then, if you are a true hero, you'll be permitted to wield the power to destroy the great evil. So
that's neat.
Things.
Yeah.
Right?
Plus,
I think it's cool because it seems to be that, you know, we had this like Anthony was saying, we had this conversation with Jaboon where Coral was like, yeah, he's not related to the hero. But it doesn't look like the goddesses were looking for someone related to the hero the same way that deities, like, on the islands were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they thought for sure it would come from the bloodline, but the goddesses were already like, actually, we have a trial set up.
Yeah.
that you don't have to, like, be related. You just have to have the courage for it.
Yeah, like if you're related, then we'll just skip right to the next step. But you have to go through this registration and like just sort of like obstacle course. Basically, you have to get clearance by going through this thing first.
Right. Yeah.
We might not be related to the hero, but we got the spirit of the hero, you know?
We got the swagger. We'll jump off a bridge.
Like, look at what we go through up until this point. We got this.
Right. And that's pretty much what Coral said, too. He's like, check it. You already got all these pearls. You fought all these monsters, journeyed across the sea. Like, come on. You got this.
Look, the pirates put him in a barrel and threw him at a wall. I think it'll be fine.
That's why I didn't warn him about the explosions. Because I knew he was ready for another launch.
Really, that's why I hung around.
This is the second time he's smacked into a wall.
I feel like the trial of becoming a hero is just how many times can you survive getting knocked into a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Link's a little damaged.
That's what caught my eye about you.
your resilience.
You took that wall like a champ.
I ain't never seen someone hit a wall like that
in all my years.
You know what? I bet we could throw him into another wall.
I'd love if Coral knew that those statues, like the dynamics and the working mechanics of them, that they were going to explode, and he just didn't tell Link.
Watch this.
This is gonna
He's
be
like
funny.
sitting with the fish man out in the water, like, hey, check it out.
Fishman's like throwing some popcorn into his mouth.
I'm really enjoying this like Nixon voice I've settled into.
So we enter this tower, and
it's the first dungeon we get to ride a boat in. We're boating in the dungeon.
Boating in the dungeon. It's this dungeon's full of references. Can I just throw that out there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it starts off, and there's a big old face statue in front of us, and it's like got water pouring out of it. And one of our first missions involves like holding down buttons for rainbow bridges.
Yay! Rainbow Bridge.
Rainbow Bridge, which, I mean, if you're a Zelda fan, you might recognize from the Ocarina of Time when the sages built a rainbow bridge.
Rainbow Bridge. I mean, obviously.
Rainbow
So they've
Road.
adapted the technology into bridges and staircases and elaborate walkways.
Yeah, the sages built this.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was prepared by the gods for sure. The ancient gods is what I was told. But yeah, maybe they had some help with sage power. I don't know.
They're the sages are the bridge union. You got to go through them.
Okay. Get all the proper permits to get this to happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be rainbow. No matter what color you want, it comes in any color as long as you want rainbow.
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, the other thing is that, I mean, we can get into what the puzzles are actually like in a minute, but I just wanted to kind of point this out that in this first section, I call it Act 1 of the Tower of the Gods.
Yeah.
We have to find these two pillars. They're like these little, it's just like a button pusher, right? I mean, it kind of looks like maybe a stamp or something, but it's just a little mini column about the height of Link. And he picks it up and you carry it out and put it in the right spot. And there's two of them. The first one, you can see the pedestal right when you come in. The other one's cleverly hidden behind a destructible wall.
Mm-hmm.
If you've played the game before, like me, you might come in, immediately destroy the wall, try to go that way, and realize, oh wait, I can't actually do what's over here until I do the other side first.
You can get.
And they were actually trying to help me with that wall.
I think you can get the compass if you go over there first, or something like that. But yeah, you can't get the key. Yeah, or you need a key.
Yeah. I think the map is on the other side, and that's like part of your hint. To look for a destroyable wall.
So yeah, because that room is completely it has a bunch of bomb. Yeah, the stuff's kind of annoying, but it's also like I like the fact that the water goes up and down in here, but it makes fighting choose kind of a pain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went back to kind of watch the my video footage of this part of the game. And I noticed that the two pillars, one's colored blue and one is colored red. They have like a bunch of Triforce symbols on them and stuff like that. Like I thought maybe they were like a weird shape that was supposed to mean something, but they're octagonal. Not. I think that's just to make it easy on the system.
Mm-hmm.
But one is red and one is blue. And when you get them both in their positions, the face statue, like the waterfall stops and there's a path through the face. And so I got big spirit temple vibes. Like, okay, we got a Kotake pillar and a Koume pillar. And once we get them in their spots, suddenly we can run through the statue face.
Okay.
I thought was
interesting.
Yeah, I was actually going to say at some point here, so playing through this dungeon definitely gave me Ocarina of Time vibes. I almost feel as if this dungeon could have been, like parts of it could have been in Ocarina of Time. It feels like it could have been an Ocarina of Time dungeon. Like that's how much it feels like that. And then it also, at the same flip of that coin, feels like it could be a Skyward Sword dungeon as well. It's got both of those elements. I think a little bit more Skyward Swordy in Act 2. But yeah. It almost feels like they just like were planning this for Ocarina of Time and then did just cut it.
Yeah, it has maybe that feel to it. I think Ocarina of Time and Skyward Sword definitely have similar vibes in their dungeons. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so like when we get through the face, it does kind of turn into the Act 2. But I thought that was really interesting. I mean, it's not something that I've ever noticed before. But today I was just looking back and I was like, there's some imagery going on here. I'm not sure if you're even like, if it matters to catch it, but it was interesting to see.
I like this section. I mean, I like that you have to use Coral in a dungeon. That, like, I don't know, just kind of putting around with him makes it feel different. I like the going back and forth, like, even though you're sort of led around, like, if you can go to the, like you said, the bombed outside if you want, but the game, wants you to go one way first, get the thing, drop the gate, and get the key. But
Yeah.
I always like this part the most in this dungeon, I think. And just the big vomiting statues is hilarious.
Yeah. Did anybody when you first come in, like through the bomb wall on the left side, there's a room with an eye switch
Mm-hmm.
that you never have to come back to. So
Right.
I think that it's like
It's a treasure
it's
chart.
like probably just okay, is it? Great.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if anybody got it because I did not.
I always wait until after I've done the dungeon and everything, because all you have to do is just run back inside. Like
Oh yeah.
yeah, with Forest Haven, I was talking about, like, I made sure I got both of the charts because, like, I'm not coming back here. But with one that's on the first floor and, like, just to the left, I was like, okay, I will come back afterward just to get you if when I want it.
Gotcha. All right. So that's cool. So then we get kind of towards our phase 2 of this dungeon, which is very statue focused. I think the first thing we come up to is this room with a BMOS in it. It's like the first BMOS we see. Also one of the worst ones
Scared
to
the
deal
crap
with.
out of me.
I despise this part of this dungeon.
Yeah, for some reason I seem to remember having a much easier time just running the statues past this BMOS because you had to like pick up these little Armos statues to run them across the room. This time Link did not move fast enough, and I don't know what I did wrong, but it got to the point where I was like hiding behind the statue until the eye looked the other way just to pick it up and try to move another 3 steps before getting shot again. And it was so bad.
You
I
know
did
what?
not remember these guys that were in here. I forgot.
I tested out the second time. The first time I did this dungeon, all struggle. Super struggle bus. The second time, I realized if I looked at the wall after so I would try to run around the wall and then it would hit me the first time, like it was pretty much happening all the time, right? But if I looked at the wall instead of the BMOS and picked the statue up, it never fired again.
Huh. So it has to be on screen. Like it's almost like it doesn't draw it in or something if you're not looking at it.
Maybe it was a combination of the distance in that, because I was basically on the wall as far away as I could be. Like if you run right up to it not looking at it, it might still shoot you, but I don't know. It seemed to work to just not look at it and run around the edge of the circle, and it'll maybe hit you once, but it didn't even try again after that. Whereas the first time I did it, it hit me like 6 times on each time, and I'm like, I definitely did that wrong, but I don't know how I could have done it right.
Was it on screen? Or was it off screen?
I was completely just looking at the wall and running. It was off screen and behind me, and it did not shoot.
It could, you could have gotten lucky, but also this game likes to spawn like the mini blends only spawn off screen, so it's not the same thing, but it would sort of it's not beyond them to treat something off screen differently.
Yeah. Huh.
So the next time you guys are in here playing again, just try not looking at it, and maybe that's the secret.
Yeah.
Maybe. I was looking at it to try to time when to pick up the statue, and it was very painful.
I was killing them, but they're still a pain.
Yeah.
Just throw bombs at them, but these like the eye has to be in the right in the right spot or something. I don't know. They're very annoying BMOS. I can't remember it. Are the ones in Skyward Sword also just the worst? I think is the one I'm thinking of, but these give those a run for their money.
Yeah. These ones are rough. Once you get the bow, they're inconsequential.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Before that, they're obnoxious. But yeah, we get through this first statue placement, and we get kind of towards this this room, which is like, it's got a pedestal in the middle that actually ends up being like a transporter device. It's like ancient magic. But in order to activate it, we have to get these 3 statues collected into this room. Each statue responds to verbal commands from Link, but can also be controlled with a song that we learn once we get the first one back.
So one of Link's like grunt noises sounds like he's saying "yep." And if you don't count that as Link's first word, then his first word is "come on."
And so that's kind of what we get here is "come on," and the statues listen and they just kind of plink along behind you.
The statue goes "yep."
Each statue has like a face that doesn't look very animalistic, but they all have different horns on top. The first one kind of looks like a ram because the horns are kind of curled back. And this one, there's like you approach it on a rainbow bridge, but then you have to move it back underneath the bridge, and it's a whole thing.
Then isn't there like a rainbow ceiling?
Right, the bridge becomes the ceiling.
The bridge stops you from just picking them up and running with them.
Darn you, sages, for installing the rainbow ceiling.
And then you very specifically have to remember to jump with it when you're holding it, because if you try to pick it up and throw it to the end, it will miss and respawn, and you have to do it again.
Yeah.
Oh,
the first one
I always
you.
Assume that if I picked it up and threw it, it would turn around and try to follow me some more and just jump right off the edge back towards me.
Yeah.
So I was like, probably gotta jump with it.
That would suck.
That would be funnier, though. I would have rather that.
But I love you.
Wait, why do you throw me?
We must be together forever.
And so once we get this one, we get the command melody, which I believe we use in this dungeon, but then we use for like some other stuff later in the game as well.
So,
but not always for statues.
Yeah. So there's a the thing that teaches you to say "come on," to press the button to call the statue down, I thought was the command melody thing. So I ran up to it, pulled my baton out, and played the command melody, and it was like, no. When you get out of this room, we'll teach you that. Like, all right, fine.
You're a bit early, but okay. Great. So this first one is pretty straightforward because of that. The second one that we get, second path, I mean, the first one tells us that we have to get all these statues back to their places of truth, is specifically what it says. And then once you get them all back to their places of truth, it'll open up the path to the gods.
It's the path of truth.
Right. And so the second one, I thought the antler, like the little head adornment, kind of looked more like an antelope situation, but it also kind of looked like the frog gods, like antenna deal. Like I wasn't really sure what they were going for with these statues, to be completely honest.
Yeah, they're not doing like the boar sort of.
Yeah, right. Like I was like, there's 3 of them, so maybe they were gonna do that, but they don't follow the pattern of other games. So the only guess I had was that one of these statues you have to like figure out a scale to get it back. So I'm like, well, maybe that's like the wisdom one. One of these you have a big fight to do, so maybe that's the power one, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the second one would be that power one where we get the antelope.
We have to like swing over something too.
Yeah, you swing over a platform to get it. Once you get it back out of that room, you got to swing over to a different section. Coral reassures you using the glowy stone that the statue's not going to leave the room on you. You can leave it behind. It's fine.
Look, I don't have friends, so I get it, but he'll never leave you.
It was so weird because he's clearly knows all about this tower for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like, have you been here before, sir? Like, what is your inside info? Like, why do you know so much about this tower?
He's the first one.
Were there other 10-year-olds, and are they okay?
Right? Like, did they come out and tell you, like, hey, I couldn't finish it, but listen, there's these statues. They don't leave the room when you leave. So tell the next guy, it might help. But yeah, this is where we get our hero's bow, but we don't just get it. We have to fight our first. What are they called? Are they Iron Knuckles in this game, or are they?
I believe they are Dark Nuts.
Dark Nuts.
Yeah,
because everything has to have two names. No, it's like it's basically a knight that if you take off its helmet, it looks like an Anubis.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's different kinds in the game, but this is, I believe, is a silver Dark Nut.
Yeah.
And these are also the guys that carry the champions belts or the knight's crests,
which I forgot to nab.
Oh, you didn't nab it? Didn't give it to you? Did it drop it just by chance? Or
no? I missed the drop. I got the rare missed drop, and I didn't nab it.
So the funny thing about these guys having these knight's crests is that they are visible at all times.
Mm-hmm.
If like before you steal them, you can just straight up see that they're wearing this belt. If you try to grab it off of them while they're fully armored, it won't work. But if you knock off their helmet, it will, which makes no sense. It's basically like, it's like Link is so adept with his grappling hook that he throws it at the Anubis's face. It does a Star Wars-esque, missiles down the vent shaft to go through this guy's armor and grab it off his waist, and then brings it back to you, which is just funny. But the other thing is that if you do a side dodge on these guys, like a parry, you can actually cut off their main armor as well.
Yeah.
And kind of like the Moblins, you can actually get them to drop their sword and take that from them to use against them. So there's a lot of different ways to approach this fight. One of my favorites is the Easter egg-esque bit where if you are locked onto one of these guys and you start charging a spin attack, they will also start charging a spin attack as like a dual gesture.
Oh, yeah.
And they will mirror your movements. So if you get positioned right, you can actually win that. But if you get it wrong, they will actually do a spin attack with you and hit you. So it's like a whole thing.
Thought they were Dark Nuts, not Dark Links.
Right? How do they know the family secret technique?
Right. I tried to throw their sword. Like, I knocked his helmet off. And I was like, well, let me throw the sword at his head, but no.
I just used the sword he dropped as bait. He's always like, oh, hey, look, my sword. Opening. Oh, hey, look, my sword. Opening.
These guys are one of the most professional, knights, though. Because when they don't have their sword and they don't know where their sword is, they'll straight up just take on a martial arts stance and start doing spin kicks.
Yeah, they resort to fisticuffs.
And it seems like they've been classically trained in fisticuffs. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they got the legs to, like, they got a roundhouse kick that's pretty mean.
Yeah.
Look at all that armor they're carrying around all the time. Their legs are bulk, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bulk.
But it's funny to me because you can knock, like, a Bokoblin's sword away, and they kind of have like a panic jump where they'll just try to crash into you. I mean, some of them have like a nice flying kick when they do it, but it's mostly just like they're freaking out. They want their weapon back. Similar with the Moblins, they know us at least a stance where they like put an arm up or something, but really when they're missing their weapon, they just do a similar they just crash into you. Yeah. But these guys are actually like, they keep it together when they're without their weapon for the most part.
Very composed.
Yeah. One of my favorite enemies in the game. I mean, between these and the Moblins, we're gonna see a lot of them. Because they are probably one of the most common mini bosses from here on out. Which is actually, you gotta love them, because if you don't, you're going to be miserable by the end of the game.
No, they're fun
Just the
to
truth.
fight. They're fun in a crowd. Not like a crowd of them, but like
Right.
drop a dark nut into an already crowded room and like I'm having a good time.
Oh yeah. They definitely exhibit friendly fire as well, just like the moblins do.
Yeah.
So when they get swinging, they'll take out their allies all the time. It's pretty great. But we defeat this guy. We get the hero's bow. It lets us hit a switch.
You got a bow.
Get a path back for our statue.
Thankfully.
Yeah, right. It's not like what was it? Skyward Sword, where the bow was like the first dungeon item or something like that. Like time to bow was so short.
Yeah.
Fact about this bow was the hero's bow was actually only in 3 games. It was in Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. I learned, which is kind of
Okay.
funny because those are like the 3 consecutive games, basically, like the main series. And I just thought that was funny. They kind of like reused the same bow after Majora's Mask, and then they were like, let's do something different.
Because it was the fairy bow in
Yes.
Ocarina,
And the
right?
fairy
Mhm.
slingshot.
Interesting. Well, I guess if he had used the fairy bow, that's what would have made it the hero's bow, right? Did it get renamed, do you think?
Yeah, with the Legend of Link, they were just like,
Very heroic bow. Yeah. Now this is the hero's bow because before it was a fairy's bow.
It was used by the greatest of fairies.
But yeah, generally they'll give you whether it's a slingshot or a bow and arrow, usually the first item you'll get in a Zelda game, or at least like around this time, because Ocarina is the same way, Majora, Twilight Princess. That's why it's so odd that getting the grappling hook first. Like the Zelda, whatever the first item they give you usually is, except for the Gust Jar, is usually like very important to like the game itself. So we get the grappling hook here, which I think gets used more than, I mean, sure, you use the bow for like combat stuff and like hitting things in the eye, but I think they use the grappling hook a lot more in this game.
Yeah, the game, after it gives you the grappling hook, it just starts putting things to grapple to in places with no kind of telegraphing or forewarning. It's just when you hit a roadblock, they kind of expect you to look up and look for things to grapple to.
Yeah.
Which definitely feels unique to this game, for it to be like, hey, swinging is such a big deal. We worked really hard on this mechanic, so we're going to just have it everywhere.
Gosh, I wish I could just climb.
That's not for another like 3 or 4 games. not doing that. All right, so we get the second guy on his pedestal, and then we open up our third path, which is the giant scale of justice, but also a couple side rooms. There was a treasure chart in here behind the bomb wall, and then there was like a small key and a joy pendant in like a giant moving platform room.
Yeah.
Which was, fun. I mean, if you just pull out your Korok leaf, you can skip most of the platforms. So
yeah, popping the Korok leaf out here is fun. Like there's a place where like they want us to do it, but then there's also like I'm just going to use it.
Yeah, I find that the Korok leaf comes in handy in a lot of ways that the game probably doesn't nudge you towards.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're swinging, and you don't really want to like turn the swing to aim a different way, you can just pull out the Korok leaf, like jump off the swing and then go right into a glide and then just kind of fly wherever you want. And now that I'm saying that, I'm kind of wondering if I could have done that on Nico's challenge, where he was like, hey, we don't... I don't even know if you can use items in that room, though, to be honest. I think that might have been how they kept that from happening. But.
Yeah. Yeah, because he gives you the rope, so Maybe you can't use any items, but that would be cool. I like that. Also, that is an excellent point that I've never considered. Just don't stop and turn and swing. Just pull your leaf out as long as you're not outside.
Yeah. Or if you're not going to like swing past a barrier, that's going to make it impossible to do what you're trying to do. But definitely in this room, there was a time like the swings were in such a weird position. I was like, I don't want to deal. Like I just did one good swing, jumped off, pulled out the leaf, and just glided to where I wanted. And it was a lot easier to deal with than worrying about the rope direction. So yeah, Korok leaf for the win.
Never tried
the
that.
original, parasail or whatever they call it.
Pillowcase from Skyward Sword.
Right. And so this last statue it's got bull horns. It's got two little like inward curling horns. Kind of looks devilish. That's why it's very confusing because that would have been my first pick for the power thing. But like I said, we don't fight a Dark Nut here. We fought it on the other one. So I don't know. Just that whole bit's not computing for the most part. But we go get this this bull statue. Do some fun overloading of a scale and then bring it back to the other room with us. This is also the first Wizrobe battle.
Yeah. I was not happy to hear that noise. I mean, they're very distinct. They let you know when they're there.
Yeah, because they got the face of a raven or a crow or something, and they just like have the most ridiculous vocal barks in the game. Both when they appear to fight you and when they die is hilarious.
Craig won't it if someone tried to do the impersonation. So.
Right, I was gonna say I could try to do it, but I'm pretty sure it would cut out and sound terrible. But it's just funny. They always sound like they're in a cave too. They got a lot of reverb on that bark. Not sure what that's about. And so we kind of get through here. One thing I did want to mention is that in that little bomb section, there's two things, because this is kind of like they showcased another set of enemies, and this is the Armos family.
Ah, yes.
So when you actually get the bull statue, actually never mind. The Armos that actually fight come later, but when you go to get that treasure chart through the bomb wall that we were talking about, there's two Armos knights. And so an Armos knight is like just comically large in this game.
So big.
Yeah. And they
very easy to destroy though.
Right. They have an eye you can hit with an arrow, and that stuns them and like makes their mouth fall open, and you have to throw a bomb into the mouth. Which is actually a hint for a fight that we get into later. So it's really good to get this practice in this room if you find it, which makes it really like interesting to me that this was an optional room. Like you didn't have to come here right now. It is a treasure chart, and it looks like an important treasure chart. You actually have to play like the whatever of wins to get it.
Requiem. Wins Requiem.
Yeah. You have to play the Wins Requiem to get it, which is like normally like a super special chart thing to do. It's just a regular C chart.
Yeah, it's teaching us that when we see that circle, that like do something. Like you're gonna want to do something here.
And so you summon the chest. You get into this fight with these two Armos knights, which are the bigger form of an Armos. But we haven't fought any Armos yet, so that's kind of confusing. The game doesn't tell us the names or anything, but yeah, it's a whole thing.
So there's actually two rooms that have Armos knights in them in this dungeon. And they're both laid out almost the same. One requires the Wind's Requiem and the other one doesn't. This one is great because it gives you a super awesome C map, and the other one is a complete waste of time because it gives you a joy pendant. And that would be like the second or third joy pendant out of a chest in this dungeon. And I'll tell you what, I am mighty sick of getting out of chests at this point. The thing I'm probably never gonna need for the rest of the game because I got enough of them. So stop, please.
Right.
I don't
game
want your joy pendants.
the game really wants you to give some joy pendants to the teacher.
And another
Yeah,
funny
really
thing about
bad.
the room that we were actually just talking about is I fought the other two Armos Knights to get a joy pendant, so I didn't feel like doing it again, so I just ran up, opened the chest, and left as they were trying to attack me. You don't have to fight them in this room. You can open the chest, get it, and dip.
Right.
You just gotta be
Okay.
quick about it.
I'm pretty sure I completely missed the first set of Armos Knights then. I don't know where they were.
Yeah, they're pushovers. I don't even shoot them in the eye. Like, I just kind of let them run around for a second. Then they stop on their own. And
Yeah.
forget
You get like a
throwing.
little 3-hop window or something to
Yeah.
chuck a bomb.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, forget chucking. Like, you can just run up to their, like, they won't hurt you if you touch them. You just place it in their mouth.
Yeah. I guess you could do it that way.
Yeah. And there's also another room with like moving platforms. I think it's in the room that we get, or in the section that we get the bow and arrow. But yeah, it has like these. I think you have to go in there to get a key or something. You don't have to do the whole thing though, because if you do the whole thing, it
You get a
involves
joy pendant.
joy pendant. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the room where I was saying I skipped most of it with the coral gleaf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get in that room and then go, I've done this enough times to know that it's just a joy pendant. Goodbye.
All right. And so once we get all three of these bulls together, I should mention that the bull with the statue with the bull horns, which is why I keep saying bull on accident when I mean statue, is like one of the cooler challenges, but very simple. You have to like jump up on a box, glide across, call a thing down, have it go through a laser beam barrier. That if you try to go through with this link, it's like clearly don't do that. And then he just goes and steps on a platform and lets Link out. So it's not super confusing or challenging, but I've definitely had times playing through this where I was like, what am I supposed to do here again?
Mm-hmm.
And just tried to like call it from the other side of the barrier.
Oh, yeah.
And it just doesn't listen because you're too far away.
First time I did this, I was stuck in this room for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what do you want from me? And then finally I'm like, wait, can I glide over these?
Mm-hmm.
And I had like 6 inches of space, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. There are some times when
I was chucking
the
boomerangs
game
at my
wants you to
guy.
fly.
I was doing everything.
Yeah.
I was calling my guy bad words. I was just trying to get a rise out of him. And then it's like, I just needed the leaf.
Yeah.
It's the reason why it's the first time you play this game, it's tough to get this room is hard is because you're not thinking about the Deku leaf.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't asked you to use it in this dungeon yet. Like, this is the only time they like really need you to. And if unless you've played Breath of the Wild and you're just like predisposed to doing that, it's not your first thought in an old Zelda game. I took me forever to figure it out the first time, and then I watched my friend do it, and he couldn't figure it out, and he eventually like surprised because I was like, just let me tell you what to do. And he jumped over to like a statue off to like the side, and then somehow managed to like jump over in a way that they didn't want you to. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. You're supposed to use the leaf, but that was awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely have had, like, in previous playthroughs, I had way more trouble with it. This time I came in, I was like, oh yeah, this room, right?
Yeah.
But definitely had more of a confusing time on previous plays.
The first time, before I tried the leaf, I tried to bomb push myself through it, is how far my head was from gliding. I was trying to exploit bomb boost damage invincibility frame my way through the laser.
Yeah,
I
definitely
was
try to,
running out of matches
get
in my
enough
box.
momentum and like roll through the barrier and hope that it hits you the other direction. You know,
Something like that.
just nonsense. Yeah. But yeah, once you get the solution, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, one of those face palm moments.
So we get these three guys, get them back into the main room, and then we get this big old beam of sparkly light to send us up to our final little bit of the game.
Act 3.
Act 3, the shortest of the acts.
So
Start out in a room. What's up?
the 3 statues that we put in their true place. In order to create that beam of divine energy that takes us up to the next thing, they shoot out a laser that I think is pretty much identical to the lasers that come out of the statues that we put the orbs in that created this thing in the first place, like that brought this tower up. Don't know if that has any significance. They also start up blue, and then when they shoot out the laser, they turn green. Yeah, just
And
things I noticed.
when they're under the control of the command song, they turn green as well.
Yeah.
So does that mean someone's controlling them to shoot those beams and open your path?
Probably. It's probably some kind of program in place.
It's Coral.
always Coral.
Orchestrating the entire thing from the outside.
Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job.
He knows lighting real well.
Bring them up, Scotty.
Yeah.
We have to leave our friends behind.
We leave our 3 friends behind. We go up to another room. It's got a couple of BMOS in it, but now we can take them out, which is nice. You mentioned earlier that you were able to defeat one of these with a bomb. Does the eye have to be active for that to work?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least like looking towards you or about to hit you or about to turn on.
Oh, gotcha. So it's like super tight timing.
Yeah. Because it usually, like at least in Ocarina, like just hit him in the head with a bomb and just blow up.
Bomb them wherever. Yeah.
So I was trying that.
Gotcha. I didn't get that I didn't try to do the timing or anything. I just threw bombs at these at some point. Like the first one that you meet, I tried to bomb it and nothing happened. And I was like, I guess that's not a solution in this game. And just that's when I had trouble with the, running statues through the laser.
There was a couple where I didn't get it right away, or like sometimes you could get it where before they hit you, but like towards the end, like I was just trading blows with them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we haven't quite got there yet, but we're so close. I just want to say, after hearing that, I treated the last little walkway before we get to the end, which is like the room after where we're at. I treated that like an FPS where I did not leave my bow the entire time. Like the rocks were behind me swinging, and I'm just walking, activate, bam, keep going, just looking down I felt like I was playing like GoldenEye or something with a bow and arrow.
That is kind of the way to handle these BMOs, at least I think easily, is to get the bow ready in first person mode, have it trained in on the eye, and then once the actual ball forms for the shooting lasers, you can just take it out. But that's why, like for me, like you want to be pre-aimed to make that happen. Otherwise, you'll get hit by a laser before you can shoot.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, good stuff. I mean, there's 2 of them in this room. If you take them out, it just makes life a little easier because you got to transport some Armos. Side note, Armos are doing the little teapot pose, which is adorable. I don't know why they did it that way, other than to be funny, and it works.
Make me laugh.
I think it's funny.
These ones are extra cute because they actually let us pick them up and move them.
Right, like they're tiny little Armos statues, and you pick them up, and they got like the one arm on their waist, and the other one like like the spout, and you bring them over, and you put them on their switches, and they clear a path to the big key. And once you get the big key, they all go oh and wake up. They don't like that. They don't like that you got the big key.
I don't like that noise either.
I think it's. I mean, you hear it like they say it and then I say it is typically how it goes. Like, oh yeah, these ones come to life. All right.
This means I need to run out of this room.
Yeah. Yeah, they are much like the Armos Knights, you can shoot them in the eye to stun them. But for these guys, it's a little more necessary to do that because they have a weak spot on their back that really only is available to hit if they are stunned.
They're much more of a pain.
I didn't stun them. They always,
you just roll around them or something?
No, they always they move towards where you are, but then they don't change that trajectory until they stop moving. And then like a second later, they start moving again. So I just waited for them to start moving at me and then walked around to the back of them and shot them in the back with an arrow. And then that permanently disabled them. Like I hit one in the back with an arrow and then I forgot about him for a minute and went and beat the other one. And when I turned around, that dude was still just sitting there. He was done. He was out.
I think you can even do that with swordplate too. Like I think you can like sidestep them a little bit and then do like a spin attack or something. And you can still hit them that way too.
Yeah, I usually
you can imagine
if I'm in a crowd of them that the game is like you have to beat all these panic spinning and panic spin attacks pretty much.
Yeah, and if you have the a super awesome technique that we get later, your panic spin attack can be a real marvel to behold.
It's a secret to everyone. The technique,
secret to everyone. But I'm definitely going to be going for it once I can. It's like a necessary detour in the game. Just completely halts the momentum of anything else I'm doing.
What a technique!
You'll get it. Don't worry.
Hey.
Cool. So we get our key. We start heading towards that staircase. We do our FPS mode.
Hey.
Make our way up to the boss fight. This boss is pretty okay. It's unique and it's not.
Yeah, this is straight up Andross from Star Fox, and no one can tell me this ain't just Andross.
Or the statue in the pyramid in Mario 64.
Yeah. If you haven't played any of those games and you're just a Zelda fan, it's also Bongo Bongo.
Yeah. But I think the statue in Mario 64 would be the first one. I don't think Andross had hands in Super Nintendo, but I can't remember.
Yeah, Star Fox 64 he for sure had hands.
Yeah.
There was like one that he was a face and then one that he had hands. I mean, they kept changing them, just like Ganon, honestly.
But yeah, very classic Nintendo.
Yeah, and this one kind of has a pick nose situation going on, but it's very it's giving Mayan for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Or Olmec.
Yeah. And so you walk in and you get like a little spiel about how it was good for you to make it this far. And then they say like, here's one final trial, right? One final challenge. He does call us the chosen one, which was, an interesting intro.
And so Oral did bring us here, so we were chosen in some way.
And we've overcome all the other challenges in the tower. So yeah, chosen is, it's an honorific at this point. And so we get into this fight with GohDan. It's GohDan. GohDan, maybe.
Gohan.
I think GohDan is funny because
GohDan.
GohDan.
Anyway. Let's go down. Crush this little 10-year-old. Come on, Dan.
Chosen to be smushed by you, GohDan. GohDan.
Go, Dan, stop sneezing arrows at the 10-year-old, Dan.
Yeah, this is where we unlock snot arrows. I was gonna say
he's gonna kill you.
GohDan is very forgiving, but he's very much just an arcade game.
Yeah, your head explode pretty much.
You can shoot the eyes on the hands to disable them, but I don't even know that you have to, because if you shoot the eyes on GohDan, that's how you actually get him to become vulnerable. And he gets vulnerable in the same way an Armos Knight does. His mouth opens up and you can feed him a bomb.
I don't think that his eyes are available from the jump. I think you have to hit the hands and then he opens his eyes.
Yeah. There gets to a certain point
where
all four are active, but I think part of that is even if you have the hands deactivated and you are like working on his eyes and you run out of arrows, he'll do his whole like, oh, here's just a snot arrow for you because clearly you need these. And if he does that, the hands reactivate, but his eyes stay at the same status.
Okay.
So you can go back to shooting his eyes. You don't have to redo the hands.
That's nice. Because that always sucks when you miss your cycle and you're like, oh, I have to start again.
Yeah.
Like in Star Fox Adventures. It's like, oh, I got to start the cycle all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first time I did this fight, I did it exactly with the amount of arrows that I had. Like, I didn't even see the animation of him spawning more, but the second time I was off by like 2.
Yeah.
Because each cycle
really
takes
weird.
8 arrows, so you only have 6 to miss with throughout the fight.
Right. And a lot of times you go shooting for an eye and your arrow will just straight up hit his big nose. And then it's like,
Yeah.
all right, well.
If he's moving in the right way or fast enough, it'll just miss.
Dan's tricky.
It's one of the, like, it's weird because in most other Zelda games, they come up with a better excuse for you to get the item you need.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with Bongo Bongo, eventually like they start giving you like magic and arrows whenever you shoot the hands, but it's like a reward for doing something.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it's like, oh, you ran out of arrows. Well, the devs thought of that, and then he just like snorts an arrow down for you. You know, just snot rockets one. It's what are we doing?
It's kind of a narrative, though. Like, this is a training thing, you know, simulation. So, like, I don't want to kill you, but you know, I don't want to like just lay down and let you kill me. But you know, you're going to need arrows to do this. So, it lends itself to the narrative that this is a test and like sort of a training thing.
Right. Like this isn't a malicious enemy that you have to like, it's going to shoot something at you that could hurt you if you don't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you do, you get your arrows. Like it's like, no, just take the arrows. That's not what this is about. This isn't a resource management training. This is combat training.
Yeah. Like, you know, if you die, like, oh, that sucks. I guess you weren't the hero, but you know, I'm not out for blood.
I feel like this is like kind of one of the odd man
I'm gonna
out.
shoot a. Oh yeah.
Because normally a Zelda dungeon would just have like some pots, like maybe 6 or 8 pots around the battlefield, and that would have the items that you need in them. But this is one of the ones where instead of doing that or having some reward for shooting a part and getting farther in the fight to replenish you, this one just waits until you're empty and goes, oh, here you go.
Yeah. I mean, the other move this guy has is like a machine gun of lasers coming out of like a rocket in its mouth, like it's just a cannon in its mouth. I mean, and that's very epic. But also, the platform is straight up. It is the Bongo Bongo arena. Like there's like electricity around the outside of it instead of acid or whatever. But the same deal. If you fall off the main platform, like you get hurt and you have to make your way back up while losing health. So it's very callbacky. What I thought was kind of cool about this one is when you win the fight, this boss doesn't get destroyed. Like he doesn't explode, he doesn't burn up, he doesn't anything. He actually starts glowing, as in like a you won. Congratulations.
Well, like he puts himself back into his charging pedestal.
Yeah, it tells you that you did well, and like he says, what is to come is tied to your fate, to the path you have chosen. And then he kind of sticks back in the wall.
He says, proceed with caution.
Coughs hard at you. I guess that came out the other nose.
Doesn't it come out? Yeah, I was going to say, doesn't it come out the nose as well?
I don't remember.
Something like that. It's a very silly boss. But you get your heart container, you head up through the the transporter that he gives you, and it brings you to a bell on the top of the tower. So we get out our grappling hook, we ring the bell, and we open a path down in the ocean where Coral is waiting for us.
You know,
I mean, we like show
I
up on
think-
Coral.
We do, yeah. The path opens up, and then immediately, like, you see Coral roll out with you on deck.
It's like I
With,
jumped off this thing again.
Right. With how
Yeah.
big the bell is, though, I don't know if our buddy Link is going to be hearing all too well for a while. If you were right underneath a bell of that size when it was ringing like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and the whiplash from like trying to move that giant like bell hammer.
Yeah, that too.
It's the whole thing. It's like some hunchback stuff. I was gonna say, do we want to end this episode here, or do we want to talk about like Coral giving us a little pep talk before we go in?
I went down below the water because he wouldn't let me save until
Yeah, the
went
cutscene just
out.
continues.
yeah.
I think
Like the cutscene takes you through
I
it.
think a good part to leave off is just where you sink into the water.
We're
Okay.
gonna die.
We get on the glowy part, and then we just start slowly sinking in the water. And who knows what
Yeah.
happens now?
So Coral does give us a little spiel, right? He says the gods have acknowledged you to be a true hero, which is interesting.
Thanks.
I didn't hear the gods say that, but sure. But your trials don't end here. Once you go through the light, your true trial will begin. And then he asks you if you're ready, and Link gives a nod, and y'all just kind of cruise into the glowy spot and sink into the water. And we will pick up next time.
And that ends this season.
From there.
Link dies.
Wow.
Coral's plan all along.
Coral was Ganon all along.
Oh no.
Wow. All right. So otherwise, this has been our episode of A for No, B for Yes. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a blast covering the Tower of the Gods. And next time we will discuss what we find through the glowy ring. So be sure to tune in then on A for No, B for Yes.
Don't feed the bees.
Sink to win.
Did you get all that?